Hello, fifth graders, and welcome to your math lesson for today. For today, you will need your 5A textbook, your 5A workbook, and paper and a pencil, or whiteboard and a marker. Ultimately, you'll definitely need a pencil to do your homework. So if you need to pause and get those things, please do so, and then come on back. We were working in our last lesson, fifth graders, on the distributive property, and so I have your warm-up question for you today, which is about applying the distributive property. So go ahead and give this problem a try. You're going to fill in your missing numbers, and when you're done, come on back and see how you did. So fifth graders, remember, this is the number here that we need to make sure that we are distributing that to. And remember, when we distribute that number, it means it should appear twice on the other side. Does it appear twice over here? Do we see 2 2s? No, in fact, we don't see any 2s, which is a big hint to us. If we need to have 2 of these 2s, then we should be filling in 2 2s. Also, our other hint is that 30 and 6 were already covered, so that 2 was what was left. So you should have, that's very hard to read, 30 times 2 plus 6 times 2. Hopefully you got that one. So fifth graders, for today, our objective is going to be using mental addition strategies. And in fact, the next several lessons are going to be about applying mental math strategies. So what that means, fifth graders, is that I don't want to see you doing any kind of like writing of the vertical algorithms where you're calculating. The purpose of these strategies are really to be thinking about how we can manipulate numbers in a prudent way in order to find the answers to these problems in our head. So we really shouldn't be writing things down paper and pencil. This is all about mental strategies. Today, we're going to focus on addition. So I'm going to do a couple of quick visuals for you today just to give you an idea of what it is that I'm talking about. And then we'll go into your textbook and apply it on a sort of a bigger scale. Okay, so our first couple of examples are going to be pretty simple, but I just want to show you what it is, the basic strategy that we're going to be applying for today. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so these are 2 rows, both of them 10. And so the kind of thing that we're going to be applying today, I'm filling in these little beads to help demonstrate. So if there are 10 circles on this side and we have 1 left over, that tells you that we have how many red beads? That's right, 9. 1 fewer than 10, okay? Now we have blue beads that I'm filling in. And you'll see that I have 1 extra, so that means 11. The gist of our addition strategies today is going to be just regrouping in such a way that we can add this really easily, okay? Most of you can probably add 11 plus 9 in your heads, okay? But really, if you regroup, we have now 10 plus 10, which should be very simple and very straightforward. Again, these examples are much more dealing with much smaller numbers, but it's going to be the same kind of idea, okay? Another example, we have 7 red, and now we're filling in our blue. And you may have guessed that I have 3 extra. So part of this mental strategy is thinking I have 3 away from 10 here and 3 more than 10 here. So if I shift these into this group, now I'm adding 10s. So this is the basic principle behind today's lesson, is that we're going to be shifting to make even groups that are nice and easy to add in our heads. So this is all about how can I prudently regroup the things that I'm adding. So my add-ins, how can I prudently regroup them in order to make addition a little bit more simple. So we're going to be working on page, or at least part of page 35 in your textbook if you want to open up and follow along, okay? right. For our first few examples, I like to think of this as sort of the close to 100s examples. Okay, so you can see in each of these examples, we see something that is close to a multiple of 100. Okay, so we want to think about regrouping these. So for part A, again, I do not want to see you doing this. No, 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 no. This is about us using mental strategies in order to solve this. So really being able to do this horizontally or maybe not even copying it down. So again, remember the sort of visual of regrouping, okay? This is very close to 100. In fact, to 300, I should have said. In fact, it's 1 away. So we can think about taking 1 from here and moving it over here. So if we take 1 from here, that means we're removing 1 and moving it over here where we're adding 1. Okay, so we took 1 and shifted it over, and now we have 300 plus 41, which is something we all should be able to do in our heads. Okay, so let's think about part B. 152 plus 399. So again, we want to think of the one that is close to a multiple of 100, which is right here. In fact, we're 1 away. So again, we're going to take 1 from here and move it over here. So if we're taking 1 from here, this is going to become 151. If we're moving it over here, this becomes 400. Now we should be able to add this part in our heads to get 551. Let's try C. 699 plus 311. So again, this is very close to a multiple of 100. So we're going to take 1 from here and move it over here. So this becomes 700. And we've taken 1 from here, so it becomes 310. Now, hopefully we can add in our heads and get 1010. I'm going to have a couple more. I'm just going to make them up for you on the fly, and I want you guys to try them on your own, this same strategy. This is kind of our close to 100s strategy. So let's say I ask you to do so go ahead and pause. You're going to work on this problem and see how you did. Again, do not write this vertically. Remember that we're working on shifting over, okay? So fifth graders, if we're taking from here and moving over here, this should drop to 112. This should go up to 900. And then when you add, you get 1012. Let's try another one like this. Let's do 399 plus 413. Go ahead and pause. Come on back and see how you did. So again, we're taking from here and moving it here. So we should be taking 1 from 413, which means it becomes 412. We're moving it over here, so it becomes 400. And now we should be able to add this in our heads, 812. So fifth graders, some of the practice problems and homework problems are going to ask you to apply this idea of close to 100s. Okay, let's try some other strategies. These ones are going to be kind of like a close to 10s, okay? Close to 10s. It's very similar to what we just talked about, but instead of 100s, we're talking about close to 10s. Okay, so if we look at part D, 39 plus 201. We want to see how we can get close to, so find the number that is close to a multiple of 10 And again, we're going to take from here and move it here. So if we're taking from here, that becomes 200, and we're moving it here, that's 40. And now we can add 40 and 200 in our heads to get 240. Let's try E. Again, we're looking for close to tens. So this is close to a 10. So we're going to take from here and move it here. Okay? So if we take from here, this will drop to 300. Move it here, this becomes 270. Now we should be able to add this in our heads and get 570. Let's try F, and then I'll give you a couple practice problems again on your own. So again, we're looking for close to tens. So this one is pretty close to 10, a multiple of 10, which actually is 10 in this case. So we're going to take from here and move it here. So if we're taking from here, it drops to 400. We move it here, we get 510. And then we should be able to multiply this, or not multiply, add this in our heads. I'm going to have you guys try on your own. So go ahead and pause. We'll do 329 plus 301. Pause and then come on back and see how you did. So we're going to be taking from here and moving here. Okay, so if we take from here, this drops to 300. We move it here, it becomes 330. We add mentally and get 630. Let's try one more before we learn our next strategy. Let's try 789 plus 101. Pause and then come on back. So we're taking from here and moving here. So if we take from here, this becomes 100. We move it here, this becomes 790. We add mentally 890. So these two strategies are pretty similar. It's just, are we close to 100 or are we close to a tens, okay? Our next examples are going to build off of this, where we're not going to be one away, we're going to be a few away, but the strategy should still be the same. So in this case, I would still call this like a close to tens strategy, okay? It's just that our shift is going to be more than just one. So 283 plus 107. If you're taking a look at these numbers, we should look at that and say, oh, wait, those are a tens pair. So we're close to 10. However, instead of shifting 1 over, we're going to shift 3. So we're going to take 3 from here and move them over here. So if we're taking 3, this goes from 283 to 280. And then we move them here, this becomes 110. And now we should be able to add these in our heads, right? I have zeros in my ones place, an 8 and a 1 in my tens place, and a 2 and a 1 in my hundreds place, okay? Let's try B. 314 plus 206. Again, as we take a look, we should say, wait a second, these are a tens pair. So I'm going to take 4 from here and move them here. So 4 from here is going to drop to 310. Over here is now 210. We can add our ones, our tens, and our hundreds mentally. Okay. C, 635 plus 305. Again, we should be recognizing, aha, a tens pair. These two together make up 10. So we're going to take 5 from here and shift them over here. You really could shift either way, but I think this one could be considered a close to 10 here or a close to 100. But we're taking 5 and moving them over here. So we drop here to 300, move over here to 640, and now we add in our heads our ones, tens, hundreds place. All right. Now our shifting is going to be in the tens place. Okay, we're going to shift tens over. So it's slightly different, but really we're looking at the same strategy. So if we're talking about D, we're going to be shifting all these tens over. So I'm using 3 to show tens because I want to show the shift. So we're taking these 3 tens and moving the 3 tens over here. Okay, so if we're taking 3 tens down, this becomes 200. And then the 3 tens come over here, 6 tens and 3 more tens makes 900. Sorry, 90, not 900. And now we can add our ones, our tens, and our hundreds in our heads. So we've shifted the 3 tens over. Okay, looking here, I see for part E, we're going to be shifting tens. How many tens? In this case, we're going to shift 5 tens. We're shifting these 5 tens over. So if we remove the 5 tens here, it becomes 400. We shift those 5 tens over here. So 3 tens and 5 more tens is 8. So we've shifted our tens over, and now we can add. We add our ones, we add our tens, we add our hundreds to get 1,089. Okay, and then part F. How many tens do you think we're going to shift for part F? I am going to shift 4 tens. Okay, so we're taking 4 tens from here and moving them over. So we go to 200. We're shifting 4 tens over here, which is slightly trickier, but we can do it. We add our ones. We're adding 4 tens. So 4 more tens actually makes a whole new 100. So we're adding 204 plus 200, which gets us 404. Let's do a couple problems more like the ones we just did. So you're going to pause and try them on your own. Okay, so let's see. Let's do 127 plus 203. Go ahead and pause. Come on back and see how you did. So we're close to tens here. We're taking these 3 and shifting them over here. So 203 becomes 200. 127 becomes 130. We add these together to get 330. And again, we see this from our tens pair here. Okay. What about if I said 244 plus 306? Go ahead and pause and come on back. We're going to take these 6 over here. So this becomes 300. We're going to shift these 6 over here. So this becomes 250. Now we add in our heads, should be 550. Let's try a couple where we're shifting our tens. So let's say 436 plus 220. So we're going to shift tens in this case so that we're putting all of our, so we're kind of getting close to hundreds. Again, this one would be kind of like a close to hundreds. Hopefully you paused and tried this problem. So we're taking 2 tens from here and moving these 2 tens over here. Now we can add these together to get 656. So 5th graders, you have some practice problems attached to today's homework. Okay. In addition to those practice problems, which again, you're going to do the practice work, you're going to check your answers, see how you did. If you're super confused, that's a great opportunity to come and get help during office hours. Remember, this is a goal of using mental addition strategies. You should be shifting and regrouping numbers in order to do this in your head, okay? Once you've done your practice work and really checked to see how you're doing, you're going to work on page 25 in your workbook and upload a picture for us to take a look at. So good luck.